Now, she does own Albany Beauty Academy. And she did go pay cash for a truck about a week or two ago during COVID-19. She's very approved. They pay over $20-something thousand, probably $22,000 a student. They wire that money to her account while she sleep. Now think about that. She went from a correctional officer to a school owner, making more money for one student than she would her whole check sitting up in the tower. So Takenya, we're gonna unmute you, and I just want you to take over and share with them how you did it, how you went from a correctional officer to a school owner. Can you unmute yourself, Takenya?
Hello, everyone.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
We hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Like Chan said, my name is Takenya Jordan, and I am the owner of Albany Beauty Academy, and I have owned Albany Beauty Academy. It'll be 5 years, February coming up this year. When I first started out, do you want to hear the beginning of my?
We want to hear. We want to hear the story on how you transition. We don't want you to leave nothing out, because a lot of people on here don't believe in themselves. They scared. They have fear, and we just need to know that we can do it. If you did it, we can do it. So tell us your story.
Okay, so when I first started out, I was doing hair at home. My mom's hair, my sister's hair, some girls that I went to school with. When we got out of school on the weekend, we'll do hair. So they'll come by the house. I'll do their relaxers. I'll shampoo, do their shampoo sets. My sister, she was the baby then, so she was wearing pigtails, so I do her pigtails. And my mom, she was a school teacher, still is a school teacher. I would do her hair, and I was doing her hair so good that people asked, well, who does your hair? And so my mom was like, well, my 14-year-old does my hair. She was like, your 14-year-old does your hair? And my mom was like, yeah. So some of the women, they'll start coming over to the house too. But as time went on, my mom had told me to go start working with my uncle. He has his own shop. He has a beauty salon, and he has a barber on one side. And I started apprenticing with my cousin because I didn't have license. So I would go in. I had just finished high school. I would go in from like 9 to 4 or 9 to 5, and I would work under my cousin. So at that time, my cousin, she was running the streets, and she'd just make her money for that week. When she made her money for the week, she was gone. So I didn't see my cousin like Tuesday, Wednesday. I see her Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Like the other 2 days, she's supposed to be in there, I won't see her. So one day, my cousin was supposed to come to work, and I'm sitting in, I'm just doing relaxer on my sister's hair. State board walked in. I heard my uncle say something like this, Kenya, your mama here, your mama looking for you. And I'm like, huh? My mama at work, my mama ain't looking for me. You get what I'm saying? Because when the way he said it was like, that don't even sound right. So I immediately left where I was and went on the barber side. And the state board lady, she doubled up on the other side, came around, and she seen my sister sitting in the chair with the relaxer on her hair, just sitting on her hair. So she said, come here, because she knew I was doing it. She said, come here. I said, yes, ma'am. And she was like, I need you to go ahead and rinse her hair out, because if you don't, you're gonna overprocess. So I'm like, okay. So I took her to the sink, rinsed her hair out, and my uncle said that was supposed to be a fine of like, at that time, I want to say it was probably like $250 at the time, but now it's $500 to be unlicensed. So at that time it was like $250. He said, you know that's supposed to be a fine. And I said, well, what am I supposed to do? You know, my cousin not here, you know, she's supposed to be here today and she ain't come. Yeah, I know. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that girl. I'm sick of her, you know. So as time went on, I stayed about 2 months and I just got tired of it. I was paying her $25 a week. So this was in the year 2000. So, you know, $25 a week back then in 2000 was $99 in 2000. It wasn't a lot of money, but you know, it was considered a lot of money for her to do it. So I pay her $100 a month. So I got tired of going there. She wasn't there to train me. I didn't learn no book work. So I went to the tech school. When I did go there, I learned a lot more from what she taught me. You know, I did learn how to do a perm, and I learned how to do a relaxer the correct way because I was doing a relaxer the wrong way. So they did show me the proper procedures on how to do chemicals. I did learn that. And sometime during that time, I transferred to another school because they had a nail program. So, and I was doing correction. So what I would do, correction, we go to work from 6 to 2. I get off at 2. I go to school. I did my nails, got my license, and then I went back to school. Yeah, that's me. I went back to school to get my my license in nail instructor. Went back to school again to take up cosmetology. Went back to school again to take up instructor. Went back to school again to barbering. Back to school again to barber instructor. Now I'm gonna be working on doing my massage. So they're gonna be too loud. So with that being said, I kept educating myself. I kept getting licenses. I kept doing this, going back to school. I also went to school for marketing. I went to school for business. So I'm an overachiever. So I go to school for everything because I want to make sure that I know what I'm doing before I hire somebody. I like to have my own licenses because I have hired some people in the past to help out with the school with their license or whatever. It never works out. So that's why I said from now on, when I run my business, I want to make sure that I have my own licenses. So as time went on, I started working in a salon. I worked at the salon Friday and Saturday, excuse me, 2 days out the week. So I would go do nails in the salon, and that salon was an Asian salon. They came and they made me feel like I was family. And I wasn't expecting that from an Asian salon because I'm Black. But that salon, they did treat me like I was family. As time went on, I was coming to school, coming to work on time. I was learning how to run a nail salon. I was training to run a nail salon because I wanted to open a nail school to begin with. I was gonna leave cosmetology out. So she was like, well, do you want to open up a school? And I was like, I don't have the money to open up a school. And she was like, well, that's not what I asked you. Do you want to open up a school? I said, yeah, I want to open up a school one day. So she asked me to find a school. And I'm like, what am I finding a school for? I'm not for to pay for no school right now. I'm working and I got kids. So she was like, well, find your school. So I'm like, okay. So I found a school. I found me a school that would do nail instructor. So one day we went to the bank and we were sitting in the car. So she had a piece of aluminum foil about this thick, and she handed it to me. And I'm like, why this Asian lady handing me some pound cake? What she know about pound cake? You know, because pound cake come in the foil and it's thick. So I'm like, she better give me some pound cake. So I'm like, okay. I opened up the cake, thought it was cake. It was $2,500. And she gave me the money for me to go to school. So I'm like, I never had anybody outside of my family to do something like that for me because I always work. I constantly work. I was always working day in, day out. I had 2 and 3 jobs. And my aunt used to call me a Haitian or a Jamaican because she said you had so many jobs. And I'm like, well, hey, I like to make my own money. I like to be, whenever I need to go somewhere, I can do what I need to do and have the money to do what I need to do or whatever. I could buy whatever I needed. So she said, let's write a contract and you pay me back the money. So I was like, I'll be working for you forever doing it this way. So I told her once I get my income tax, I'll pay her back. So I got my income tax and I paid her back the whole 2,500. So when I did that, that made like the relationship got real strong because Asians live off of like honesty. They thrive off of you being loyal to them. So when I created that bond with her, she was like, okay, so she felt like she can trust me. And also, when clients come in and out, I'll go in and out the register, put money in the register, when clients leave. And I never worked in the Asian salon where you can touch their register. So I was able to touch her register. So, they felt comfortable with me. I used to go to their houses plenty of times and go eat with them. They came over my house a few times and, we just built a relationship. So as time went on, she wanted to get a nail salon. So we went to go look at buildings. I didn't have the money, but I knew how to read the paperwork. So she was like, well, don't worry about the money. Don't worry about the build out. I got that part. You just work on the English part, on getting the business started on that end. So as time went on, her boyfriend got kind of antsy. He was like, well, this is taking too long, blah, 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 blah. So he was ready to leave. So they moved to Atlanta. So after that, the building still was open. So I was like, you know what? I'm still gonna keep doing what she was doing and what we was gonna do, what we was gonna do together. So I went back and asked the landlord how much he wanted for the building. He told me $3,300. And I said, no, I don't have $3,300 to give you, sir. Not every month, not starting from the ground. I don't. So is there any kind of way we can negotiate this? And so he was like, well, I could do it for $2,000. I said, yeah, $2,000 sound good because I have 2 suites. I have 3,000 square feet. So as time went on, I had put all my stuff in the storage. So I would get stuff off of Amazon, off of eBay, and my house was cluttered, full of supplies, equipment. And then when I was in school, I saved a lot of my stuff from when I was in cosmetology school. I saved a lot of my stuff when I was in nail school. And I just took all of that stuff that I had and started putting it inside of my storage. My house was so big, I had to put stuff inside the storage. So I ended up getting 3 storages. So when I first started out, it would be like, I'll catch equipment, I'll go to auctions, there'll be an auction sale. So I'll go look at the auctions that they had in the area, and I'll go and pick up the items that they had for sale. Most of the auctions that I went to are online. So I do an online auction. Let's see, I'll find some file cabinets, and there'll be like 3 filing cabinets, and they're $30, they're $10 a piece. And they're the 4 drawers. So I'll get that, I'll put that up. Then there was a school that was closing in Atlanta, and I found out about it. I rode to Atlanta, and they had stations, and I went and got the stations for free. I didn't have to pay for them because they just wanted them out of the way. They had TVs. The TVs were $10 a piece. I go get a TV. I put my boys have a TV in their room now from my auction. What else I got? I got this. I got 30 discs for like $30, and I have a huge whiteboard. It covers the whole wall on the side in my classroom, and that was like $40. What else I got? I got a mannequin dryer, which is $1,500, and I paid $29.95. So the list, it just goes on and on. So what I do, I'll look for office furniture. All of my office desks came from there, my classroom desks, chairs, my dining area. So at the end of the day, I end up spending for my classroom side, I'd say probably about maybe $600 when I first started out. Oh, you got some old pictures. Okay, good. Okay, so where those two pedicure chairs are, those came off eBay, and those were used. I got those 2 pedicure chairs for like $750. They were used, but they were good used. And I didn't want to start off with no new equipment because I was a new instructor and I need to make sure that I can train my students effectively how to use the machines. Those nail tables, those were brand new. Those were, I want to say they were $150 for one. And the stools, they were like $59 off eBay. The chair on the other side where the client sits at, I got that off of auction. And I got like 40 chairs for like $40. Those chairs, that chair was $1 a piece. The lamps up there, those came from Walmart, and those run you probably like about $10. That fan ran me about $7. That's on that stand, that's on the station. Okay, so the shampoo bowls, I got those off of I want to say eBay, and it came with a chair. So those like $125 together. My dad did my plumbing. So if you see my plumbing, you see how it's set up. My dad, he did all the plumbing for me. He did the plumbing for my sinks, and he did the plumbing for my pedicure chairs. Also, we didn't plumb in the ground. Our stuff was on top. So he built a box on top of the ground, and he ran the plumbing through on top of the floor. So you can't bust the floor up. So if you bust the floor up, they'll cause damage, and the landlord, he'll get upset and he'll charge you for busting his floor up. So since I don't own that building, we wasn't able to bust the floor up. My daddy been doing plumbing for like, I'm 41. I'll say probably about 45 years, maybe. And he did all that plumbing. Also, he did my hot water heater for me. So with the hot water heater, I have a 50-gallon hot water heater. I got a scratch and dent hot water heater. I did not buy it was brand new, but it was scratch and dent from Lowe's. I went to Lowe's and I asked them for their scratch and dent items, and that's what I got, a scratch and dent. So with the hot water heater, it has inside it's like another insulated area where the water is, and that area was not dented. It was just an outside layer that was messed up, that had a dent in it. Also, I had to do the electrical part, so we had to get rid of electrician, a commercial electrician instead of a residential electrician. I didn't know there was a difference in there, but there is. So if you have someone that does commercial, you got to get a commercial electrician. I didn't know you had to do that. I thought an electrician was an electrician, but they have residential and they have commercial. So when you're inside of a building, you have to make sure that per your lease, your landlord got to make sure that they're licensed and bond. Because if they come in and they do anything to your plumbing or to your electrical and it mess that building up, you burn that building down, you in trouble with everybody in that complex. So the complex that I am in is probably about, let's say about 10 businesses over there, and we're on one strip. So if I cause any trouble with water, it's gonna go to the next person building and the next person building. So you got to make sure that you just don't get a shade tree to come in there and do those type of things, that you get someone that's licensed, because if they mess it up, you got to pay for it. For what happened after that?
Tell us about you working at the prison, because a lot of people on here, they don't know how it is in prison. I've been in prison. I vacationed there for a while, so I know, but tell them how it was with you actually working at the prison, being a correctional officer, how much money, just tell them about that experience.
Okay, so that's me. I was a correctional officer when I started in 2002. And when I first got there, I had people saying, you don't want to work at a prison, you know, what, you know, you too young, you're a nice looking lady. Why you want to work at a prison? You know, why you want to do that? Because where I live at, there's not plenty of jobs in this area per se. And so you got to catch the first thing smoking. So with the prison at that time, before I started, I was a waitress and I was making $2.13 an hour waiting on tables. And I was like, I can't do this. So one day I had put somebody order in and I went back there to pick the order up and I seen the guys behind the line that was fixing the food, putting it up on the counter. And I just stared at them and I was like, all of these people are old, like they were like older than my parents. And some of the waitresses, they were old, they didn't have insurance or anything. So I was like, I don't want to get stuck like this because I need benefits. I need health care. I need a 401. You know, I need something, some substance. And if you get sick, you don't get paid. So I said, well, let's do correction. Went into the test. I passed the test and I started working. So when I first started working, it was a lot of men in there. When I first seen them, and they called me jumpsuit. They call the new people jumpsuit. And I'm like, what is a jumpsuit? And it was like, oh, come here, jumpsuit, come here, jumpsuit, come here, blue jumpsuit. So I was like, okay, I'm a jumpsuit. So as time went on, a lot of people think that the people that are locked up are like real harsh, cold criminals. No, they are soft, they are babies. They cry about everything. Like if you tell them to do something, oh, I'm gonna go call my mama and tell my mama that you told me to go outside or you told me to do this, and then 5 minutes later, supervisor calling saying, why you down there harassing that inmate? His mama down here calling us now. And so it was like crazy stuff. So as time went on, I knew that me being a correctional officer wasn't my passion anymore. I had outgrown that job. So I went from being in the actual rooms with the inmates, because we had to work on the floor with them and count them and be like face to face with them with only keys, radio, and a clipboard. That's all I had. And I was in a room with 96 men between the ages of 17 up to 100. So I wasn't scared because I wasn't one of those type that played with them. I did my job. I didn't treat them mean. I didn't belittle them. I was not their girlfriend because it was a lot of inmates that had girlfriend correction officers. I did not bring drugs in, contraband in, messages in from their loved ones. I just did my job. So I didn't have those type of problems. I seen a lot of people I work with did get stabbed, beat up real bad. I seen some have babies from inmates, but I didn't get caught up in that. So as time went on, I started working in the tower. So during that time, we had the tower, and it had a ladder that goes all the way up to the top, and you walk up to the top, and you have like a desk up there. So I had a rifle, I had my cell phone, and I had my pen and pad, and I wrote down my plan, and I ran with it. I wrote down all of my equipment. I wrote down all of my supplies. I had a checklist from State Board, and I'll bring it with me, and I check off everything that I had purchased in my house or at the or in storage. So once I got everything that I needed down to my library, because we have to have a library in the state of Georgia, I got all my books. So I'm like, it's really time for me to go. So I would just get up early to go to work on my opening up my own business. I know a lot of stuff was going on outside of my tower. I don't know what happened. If some inmates escaped, I really can't tell you. They didn't, but if they would have, oh well, because I was so locked up into me writing my plan and escaping my prison. So I stopped working in the tower and I had got promoted to do investigation. So I started doing investigation. So when investigation came with my own office and came with my computer, that was the bonus. So I didn't have to bring my own phone because I had my own landline and my own computer. So that really sped things up. So once I got in the office, I get to work early. Let's say I get to work at 6 o'clock, I'm supposed to be to work at 8. So I get there 2 hours early. I'll go down to the holding cell where they got the inmates said. They call it the hole. It's like a jail inside the prison. And I'll go down there and I interview them. So what I did, I was a disciplinary officer. So what they do is if any drugs come in, I would have to go in and find out. I have to weigh the drugs. I have to test the drugs, and I have to write a report on where the drugs were found, who brought it in, and we have to dispose of the drugs. Or if they had cell phones, or if they had $1,500 or $2,000, I gotta take pictures of the money and get all the evidence ready for them to go to. We had our own court inside the prison. So once I got all that out the way, it'll be 6 o'clock. So I'll go knock on, let's say, inmate Smith room. Smith, I need to talk to you about this DR. No, girl, you know it's too early. I don't want to talk to you. So I put refuse. So I go to the next room. Johnny, I need to talk to you about your DR. Oh, no, you know it's too early. Go to the next room. So I go to somebody else's room. They say, B, get away from my door. Or they won't say nothing. So I'm like, okay. At the end of the day, in the morning, I'm finished with everybody. So let's say by 6:30, I'm through. I take my notebook back to my office and I start working on my business plan. So I did my own business plan because I took up business and marketing, so it was easy for me to do my own business plan. So I did my own business plan and I turned it into the bank. So the first bank I went to, I told him what I was trying to do and how much money I was trying to borrow. So he told me, he was like, well, do you have collateral? And I was like, yeah, I got a house, I got some land, and I got some cars. So I wanted to borrow, let's see, I think I put something down like 50,000. And so he told me, you know, he couldn't do my house or something to the degree. I don't know why he couldn't do my house. I think we had just got it at that time, I think. I don't know, you have to wait so long, I don't know how that go. But I didn't have enough collateral. So he was like, well, when you get enough collateral, come back and see me. So I'm like, okay. So I waited, went to another bank, went with him. He said, oh, you got student loans and your credit's not gonna be, it's not gonna work because of student loans. So I told him, my student loans are in deferment. What does that have to do with anything? And he didn't want to do nothing. Went to the third bank. Did my credit score. Everything was perfect. I had a collateral. And I ended up borrowing, I think like 68,000 plus some money that I had. So altogether, I had like $100,000 when I got through with it. I had like $100,000 because I had saved like 40,000 of my own money that I had put to the side. I don't know where I got it from, but I had it. So I went back to him. It took him 1 year to close me after I was approved. I would call every day, to ask him what's going on. Oh, I'm working on a big project in Florida. It's $1 million project. So I said, well, it won't take you but, a day or so to get my stuff situated. So what he was trying to do, he was trying to see if anything in my credit history was going to change. He was going to see if I was late on any payment, if I put something on my credit, like put a car or anything that was going to make my score go down. So once he found out that I was persistent and I was not going to give up, finally he called me in. Okay, Miss Jordan, we got your paperwork in here for you to sign. So I had to literally harass this man for a year to get my loan to move forward, and I was already approved. That is crazy. So Once I got approved, I had hired a teacher to teach a cosmetology teacher, and I still was working at the prison because I didn't want to leave the prison because I didn't want to leave my paycheck. Because when you get used to having a paycheck and you got a family, you don't want to lose your paycheck for take a risk. You know, there's just something you just don't take a risk when you have 2 small kids. And my kids, they're 13 and 12. So at that time, they were like 6 and 7. So I didn't want to risk that. So what I ended up doing, I worked my job, I hired someone, and the person that I hired did not see the same, have the same goals or see my mission that I had from my school. So with that, they was running my school into the ground. My school was straight ghetto. So when I called the school, I hear students in the back go, girl, yeah, you know, just talking loud and what happened at the club. And I'm like, what's going on, Miss Such and Such? Oh, girls, you all quiet down. This is Miss Jordan on the phone, you know. But they would come to school late. School started at 9. They would come to school at 11, 11:30, 1:30, you know, and school starts at 9. So when I tried to enforce the rules, at that time, I didn't have my cosmetology instructor license. I just had my nail instructor license. So she felt like, I'm running your school how I want to run it. So I was like, okay. So in the background, I started going back to school at night. She didn't know I was going to school that night. So I started going back to school at night to get my cosmetology license. So once I got my cosmetology license and she found out, I left my job, full-time job at the prison. So I was able to get my 401. I got some annual leave money, and I had some money in bonds and stocks and other with Edward Jones. So I took all my money out and put in my banking account, and I left. I told my supervisor, I said, I left September 15th, my mom's birthday. I told my supervisor, I told him, I said, I'll be back in December to help you with your audit. And he was like, for real, Miss Jordan, you gonna come back? I said, yeah, I just need to take a few months off to get my business off the ground because they got too much going on. In my heart, I really was coming back. But once I got released from prison, I took my walking papers and I kept going. So I think I maxed out. I didn't parole, I maxed out. So I maxed out of prison. So when I got there to the school, there was rules. And since I had rules, the teacher got mad. She left. My student body left. I cleaned everything out. All the students that didn't want to be there, that wanted to play, I killed it. So at that time, I started working the floor by myself. So when people come in, they were like, what your students at? I said, they left. You got rid of everybody? I sure did. They was not running in my school. It was wild. It was like wild west in there. I can't work in chaos. So when you're a correctional officer, you got to have some type of structure, discipline, you know, and I had that, and I couldn't do it. So as time went on, I did a scholarship, and I did a scholarship for 15 people. And when I did that scholarship for 15 people, they came to school for free. But they had to come on the terms of grades had to be 80 or above. They had to be come to school on time from it was Tuesday through Saturday, 9 to 4. They just had to, it was set up like you was getting financial aid, but I wasn't getting financial aid, if that makes sense. I had requirements that they had to do. They had to write a essay to me. So I got those 15 in. They had to buy their own boots, their own kits, their own uniforms. So they came in, they helped build the floor. And I told them they had to market. They had to go out there and market also, because I told them you weren't paying. Here goes some cards. Y'all go to the mall, go to Walmart, pass these cards out, share it on Facebook, share it on Instagram, and they started building my clientele up. So on a Saturday, I was making $600 on a Saturday, every Saturday. So those girls really came in and built my clientele up and built my floor up. They got me where I am. So even though I didn't charge them, I still was, at that time, that first month, I think I made $6,500 that first month, just off that first month. We did real good. Then it started going up to like 7,000, and I started going up to 10,000. So it just started going up and up and up as time went on. Any questions, Chin? Because I'm just talking.
You shared a lot. What was the turning point when you said I'm gonna get a school? Because there are a lot of people out there, they watch us on Instagram, Facebook, they're working behind a chair, some doing nails or whatever, and they have this vision and this dream of getting from behind the chair. They're training students, graduating from other schools. So how did your mindset change from being this worker to transition into this school owner?
Oh, okay. I didn't tell you about this. When I was coming up, I was about 6 or 7. My mom used to take me to a beauty school in our area. We had a beauty school, and it was owned by Black people. It was owned by a husband and wife. And I sit in the lobby, and I see the wife. She would always be behind the counter, and I see the people going to her, just handing her money. And I seen the students in there. I knew they were students. I was old enough to know that they were students, that they weren't workers. And I was like, okay, they're students, so students don't get paid. They're here to learn. So I was like, So I just kept seeing the women going up to her, giving her, because back at that time, a shampoo set was like $6 at that time, like $6. So they'll go up and pay her $6. And if you got a French roll, it'll be like $8 for a French roll. So they're just going up there paying her. So I'm like, she just getting all the money, and I ain't never see the students get nothing. So I'm like, damn, that's a no-brainer. So I thought about it. I said, this is something I probably want to do when I get older. But I didn't know how to go about doing the paperwork, but I seen it. It looked sweet. She was getting money, and so with me, I love what I do. I'm passionate about what I do. I get excited. Like when I come in the door, the adrenaline is running. I created my own atmosphere. It's positive. I don't have any negative people in there. I don't have no one in there that I can't stand him. I can't stand her. I can't work with him. I can't work with her. It's my own environment, and I could create it. My point was when I started going to work, and I couldn't grow. I had went on several interviews with my 4-year degree. It was like, well, once you get your 4-year degree, everybody thinks since you go to college and you have a degree that you're gonna actually land a job. You don't land a job all the time. So with my situation, I went on like 10 interviews and I could never land a job. I wanted to be a business manager. That's what I wanted to do, but I could never land a job. So I kept asking God, I'm doing everything right. What's wrong when I'm doing wrong? I've been good. I've been doing what you tell me to do. Good mother, good wife. I try to be a good friend, So I was like, what do I need to do? So he told me to be in my job. He said, build your own job. And I'm like, build my own job? What do you mean build my own job? So what I did, I got a piece of paper and I wrote down all of my criteria. I wrote down the nails, cosmetology. I wrote down everything down. I wrote down the marketing, the business. I wrote everything down. So I looked at it, and when I looked at it, I just combined everything together. So, okay, you got business, you got cosmetology. Open up a cosmetology school. And I'm like, okay, that's what I wanted to do years ago when I was that little child sitting there watching the wife taking all the money at the register. So I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. But I also want to help people, because there's a lot of places that they go to, a lot of schools now, they're not teaching these students nothing. They just taking their financial aid. They're just taking their money. We're not showing them nothing. They're not showing them how to build their credit. I show my students how to build their credit, how to get a house, how to save, how to open a bank account, how to open up a saving account, get their credit situated, pay their bills on time, be a good mother, be a good father. We have to go to school on Saturdays, and I have a male student, and I told him, I said, your son got a basketball game today? He was like, yeah. Go see your baby today. Go see your baby play. You for real, Miss Jordan? Yeah. Go see your kid play basketball. Because I got boys too. They play sports. Go see your child. So he looked at me. He was like, oh, man, I can't believe this. You know, so it's just a little stuff. Paying, I done paid for. I put gas in my student cars. I have paid bought kids food because their kids were hungry. And I felt like, well, their kids hungry because they're coming to school and they're not able to really work the way they need to work because they're coming to school. So, you know, I sometimes, you know, I'm not a cake mama, give them a little money to help them along the way. You know, it does build their morale up. Or I tell them, well, you know, don't worry about paying tuition this month. You okay? You know, I give them a pass. But it's not all the time. It's just when I feel like I want to do it, I'll do it to show them, like, I done made $1,000 off you this week. I can at least give you a piece of pizza. You know, that's just only right.
Now, when you told people you was gonna open a school, because there's a lot of dream killers out there and haters and all of that, what was the reaction when you told people you was gonna open a school?
Well, when I worked at the prison, they were like, well, this girl crazy, you know, I don't believe she can open no school, because they looked at me like, girl, all thing we're gonna do is be out here with these inmates, count these inmates, put the inmates on the van, put them in handcuffs, take them to the medical, take them to Atlanta because they have a cancer center up in Atlanta. Take them to Atlanta for cancer so they can get their drops, because they get when they have cancer, we call them drops. And they'll get their drops up there, and you know, just handle inmates the whole time. And I didn't want to get caught up with that. When I told my husband, this is the first thing my husband said. My husband, he crazy. He was like, well, long as you don't miss your bills that you gotta pay, I'm good. So I'm like, really? He was like, well, you know, it takes 2 or 3 jobs now. Long as you got your bill paid, I'm straight. You know, he was like, whatever. So he was like, I'm cool with it. So I was like, okay. So I could use your lot, like I could use your land, right? And he was like, use my land. I said, yeah, I can use your land. He was like, yeah, you can use it for collateral. So he signed his land over to the loan that I got. So finally, the loan on that land got paid off last month. And I got it in 2015. And I had 7 years on it. So it's paid off. So now he has a shop that we're building in our backyard now, because he does auto paint and body. So now we're building a shop in the backyard for him, because when you do pillow talk, our pillow talk was, you help me and I'll help you. So he helped me first, and I took his land and I flipped it. I just kept flipping his lot, flipped it. And once I flipped it, I was able to pay that land off. I had a total of 4 loans. I did. I don't know how everybody else's situation is, but I had 4 loans, and all 4 of them paid off.
Tell us about when you got VA approved and they wired that $20-something thousand to your bank account. So talk to us about the money when them big.
Can you play that NFL song when the NFL come on? Find it, Chin. Please find it. I'm gonna sit back here till you find it.
All right. That's what I'm gonna do. So
that's how I felt. I felt just like the lotto. So
what's the name of that song? So, did anybody talk negative? Any of your family members as when you got ready to open?
I had an uncle, and I asked him, I called him and asked him, could I use him to help me out with the business? And he was like, well, I just bought my daughter a car and I don't have the money. And talked to her aunt. She was like, well, I'm paying student loans for your cousin. And it was just crazy. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. But since I'm still standing, one of my aunts had retired and she came toward me and she said, I want to be your landlord. I said, you want to be my landlord? She said, yeah, I want to get you a building. I want to put you in a building and I want to be your landlord. And I said, I don't need no landlord.
That's the song.
Uh-huh. That would have sounded like landlord, but what do you have in mind? So she was like, there's a building over there on by my husband's shop, and I want to buy that building for you. And so mind you not, the side of town that her husband's shop on is on the rough side of the area. And I was like, well, I'll go see what you're talking about. But thank God the square footage was too small, because the square footage had to be 3,000. And I didn't want her to be my landlord. I want to be my own landlord. When I needed her to help me, she didn't step forward. And then when she found out that the money was coming in and, that I was still open and that I was still afloat, she wanted to come in and now I want to help. So I love my auntie, but I don't want to be business partner with her. I want to be 100%, because when you start getting into money with family or with a partner, you got to split 50-50, it ain't going to work, because my aunt is not going to come in there and do any hair. She's not going to do anything like that. She probably will come in and help out with the books, but she ain't going to work hard like I'm going to work hard. I already know that, because she's already retired. So she ain't going to do all that, like all that moving around like I do. Mm-mm.
So when you saw that money wired to your account, because a lot of people don't believe, they can't even fathom all this money being wired to your bank account. You wake up, so they can believe it now because they see the SBA loans and stuff, but you getting that like with the school on these students. So tell us about that.
Well, okay, so with the VA, you have to wait 2 years before you can get approved for VA. So when you get VA, you have to have, only thing they really need for you is a catalog, and they have certain criteria that they want you to do. Like for attendance, you have to do attendance 80%. What else was another one?
The grade.
You gotta have you can't have a lot of VAs in at the same time and don't have enough regular people. So you gotta have regular tuition people and VA. It's a certain percentage that you can
85-15.
Thank you. Yeah. 85-15 that you can have.
15% VA students, 85% of your regular students is not on VA.
Right. So
now the money.
Okay, so with that, the most that they pay out is $24,000. $24,000 and some change. I can't remember the correct change. So my tuition is $22,550. So it also goes by certain criteria with the veteran that you're putting in. So if you put in somebody that's 100%, you get 100% of the money. If you get somebody that's 90%, 90%, 50%, 50%, it goes like that. So my tuition is that price, because if I get somebody that's a 50%er, I'm not going to get the whole $24,000 from VA. I'm going to get $12,000. So that's why I got my tuition up high like that. So if I'm able to get half, I'm good with 12 versus if I do it at at 10, then I get 5,000. You get what I'm saying? So that's what kind of like I work good with numbers. I'm always writing numbers down all the time. I don't know, I guess I'm crazy, but I'm always writing numbers down and adding up stuff. I add and subtract stuff all the time.
Tell us, can you replay like when you got that money wired to your account, how you felt? Because how much were you making at the prison? Maybe 20 or 30,000 a year?
I was making 30,000 a year. So my checks at the prison were like, I can't even remember. Were like $989 every 2 weeks. Once they took out my insurance, taxes, you know, your dental care and all of that, it was like probably like $998. So now I'm getting checks for $22,550, and that's damn near what I make now. You know, what I used to make.
How did it feel to get that money wired to your bank account? How does that feel?
I don't even.
Can you tell us the first time?
Oh, the first time I couldn't believe it, because I thought it was like it was unreal. I thought it was kind of like something ain't right to get this type of money in one time. Like I never received that much money at one time unless I was doing my business loan. I had did my business loan, and on my business loan I got $68,000. You know, they came in my check account. You know, it was like woo. You know, but when I started getting that amount of money from one person, like for instance, if you doing hair now, you get $2,550 from a client. Come on, it's like wow. You know, so I need to go get some more clients like this, some more students like this. So I got out there and I just started marketing and advertising in school. You know, I accept VA benefit and getting students in. When the students come, then I get regular students in. Then they come, then they tell their friends, and then the VA students tell their friend that was in the military. And now it's like everybody just know that I'm a good school now. So my programs are real good.
Now you sell snacks too?
I sure do.
Okay. Now, as far as what about the clinic floor? So they do most of the work. The students do all the work.
Okay, so on the clinic floor, my students, when the clients come in, the clients, they sign in, my students greet them. So when they walk in, do you all have a Publix where you work at or where you stay at? A Publix.
Oh yeah, we got Publix.
Okay, so you know how Publix, when you walk in, everybody saying, hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? That's how my school is. Everybody speak. So I teach them to open your mouth. So I have some students that are kind of shy. I said, when I get a client come in, I tell them I better hear you say hello. Hi. That's all you got to do. Hi. You ain't even got to say hello. Just say hi, or either way. You got to be verbal. You got to speak to these clients. And when they come in, I'm that black face that they see. Oh, when I went to Auburn Beauty Academy, those students over there, they don't even talk to you. They be looking mean and they. And then word of mouth, they go out and tell everybody, don't go over there, and they're not friendly. So when they do come in, soon as that door open up, hello, hi, how you doing, ma'am? How you doing, sir? You know, they speak.
So, and you paid your bills off. You paid all your bills for the whole year. How did that feel to be able to just pay your bills for the whole year? Because most people paying bills from week to week, day to day, or month to month, or whatever.
Well, my bills were basically paid when they said COVID had hit. So March the 15th, 2020, when COVID hit, what I did, I went ahead and started remodeling my school. So I went ahead and got some new, I have a problem with my computer's screen up here.
I can go to it. You want me to go to the Instagram?
Okay, I'm good.
All right.
So when COVID hit, I started remodeling my school. I did my floors over. I got new signs. I got new shampoo bowls. We painted. What else we did? I started working on flyers. So if you go down, let me see. Yeah. Okay, so this is my sign here. It's a lighted sign, and I never had a lighted sign before. So when I first started off, we had a sign. It was just like that, except for it was like screen painted up there, and it started fading. So where we live, it's a lot of sun there, so it faded out real bad. But now, I have a sign that lights up at night, so people can see the building better now. It lights up. I'm working on doing some more lights on the outside also. I don't want to look like a spaceship, but I want to look noticeable.
Look at that floor.
That's when we was in Tampa, Chin.
How was it?
That was at the Heritage Club, Barber.
Oh, okay. You did get a new floor though, didn't you?
I did. I did the floors over. Because I couldn't afford to do it when we first moved in. We had carpet when we first moved in, and I just worked with it. So this, let me see where you at now. Go back up a little bit. Right here, where she's combing that little girl hair. Okay, so those girls, they are from the elementary school in my town. And we did 10 girls that's less fortunate in the school system, and we invited them over to get their hair done. As you can see, this little girl hair is very tangled and matted, and she'd never been in a salon before. So for Thanksgiving, I gave them free hair services. They got their feet polished, they got their toes polished. I cooked them breakfast. I got out of my bed and got to school and cooked everybody breakfast. We ordered their lunch because by that time I was tired in. So we ordered them lunch. We got them a care pack with toothpaste, toothbrush, mouthwash, a t-shirt, because a lot of these little girls, I'm just gonna be real with you, they moms sell their food stamps. A lot of them, not all of them. I ain't gonna say all of them like that, but they do. They don't have hot food. They don't have, they lights and stuff be off. They be living from house to house. So that day, I made sure that they did have a warm, hot meal, and they had someone that would sit down and talk to them. So, you know, we did like a girls talk, and we talked about girls, being a young lady. We went into those discussions, you know, and they took pictures also that day. I had a photographer to come in. That's my mom standing back there, if you can see her. Yeah. So those kids came from her school. So I'm a partner with the school also. I'm also on their board too. That's my son and that's my mom. That's my other son. He don't like taking pictures. And that's one of my students' son. You know, everybody, I told them to bring their kids in too, you know. So those are some of the kids that came in, and that's their parent, their mom. And that's me with the whole group. So I don't have any girls, so those are my girls. So that's how I give back. I get back to the little girls. I'm about to get teary-eyed.
You about to make me cry, because
oh my goodness,
that's
yeah.
the best part of having that school is doing things like that.
Yeah. I'm sorry, y'all.
Yeah, that's okay.
But I really love what I do. Cause a lot of those girls, they went through a lot of stuff. So I'm kind of emotional about that.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get on to something else, because I don't like to cry. I used to be a correctional officer.
Look, tell us about that truck you paid cash for. You wrote the check for that. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I did. I had been saving for a truck because I have a Honda, and my boys, they're getting taller, and my husband, he real tall. So I don't know why he like to sit in the back seat. He'll push the seat all the way back. And I got another son, he's on the other side, and he was like, you know, he'll be kicking the seat. He's like, boy, stop kicking the seat while I'm driving. And I'm like, oh Lord, the boy ain't got no, you know, he can't help it because he's growing too. So we outgrew the Honda. So I was like, well, we need to get another vehicle. We're gonna have to do something fast. He was like, yeah, I know. He said, we're gonna have to do something. So during the COVID time, it was actually last month, I told my husband, I said, Saturday we're gonna go to Macon, and we're gonna get a vehicle. He was like, okay, I'm ready. What you want to get? Cause he know I'm paying for it, so he like, what you want to get? He said, I drive. What you want to get? I said, I was looking at the Kias, you know, cause I didn't want a heavy vehicle. I just wanted something that was gonna be light and that would accommodate between 7 to 8 people. So went looking for a Kia. They didn't have them. They were sold out, like the areas that we kept going to. So if they did have one, they had like a lot of miles on it. And I'm like, I don't want them with no miles. I want 0 miles. So we finally ended up getting a Hyundai, the Hyundai SUV truck. They had a new one, the Palisade. That's what we ended up getting. So when I went in, he was like, okay, you know, what y'all want? I said, this is what I want right there, because I already knew what I wanted. So he said, you want to do a test drive? I said, no. I already test drove it before earlier, you know, like a few weeks before. This is what I want. So he was like, okay, well, come on in. Let's get the finance paperwork. And I said, no, sir, not financing. And he was like, you're not financing. Well, what you gonna do? I said, I'm paying for it for cash. He said, for cash? I said, yeah, for cash. So I had wrote them a check for $42,000 something dollars. And so everybody was just looking at me like, oh man, we're gonna have to take you to the bank, you know. So I'm like, well, okay, well, let's go to the bank. So we went to the bank, and I got we ended up getting a cashier check. Yeah. So got a cashier check. They took me to the bank. They took me to the bank, because they like, we know they lady line, you know, she just playing. She ain't got $42,000, you know. I bet you she don't, you know. Came back, man gave the cashier check, you know. I got my insurance put on the car, paid the insurance up for 6 months. I don't have no bill, nothing but utility. So they were like, well, how did you do that? I own a cosmetology and barber school. That's how I did it. Really? I said, yeah, why don't you open up your own school? So that was a blessing. I never thought, by me working at the prison, I know I couldn't have did that. That's my whole salary for a year and a half. No, that's crazy. I would have never been able to do that. Never. But like, so far, like, I don't know if you all can see. Can you see that?
Yeah, 214,000.
No, at the top.
At the top, what? Oh, 337,000. Oh yeah, we see that.
That's how much I made this year. And it's just July.
And that's through COVID.
And that's during COVID. And I'm gonna tell you this is a secret. I didn't make anything in April. April, 0. Nothing. Yep.
So to leave.
So by the time the end of this year, I think I will make $500,000. I should.
And when you get that NACA's accreditation, you're gonna hit them real. You're gonna have some $300,000 and $400,000 months.
Woo! Good gracious.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm gonna do with all that?
Live life. That's what you're gonna
Because
do.
right now, I just get up and I call the bank right now and just hit them, call them numbers out. I be like, wow. I ain't never heard them numbers. I never heard the bank automated system say those numbers out, like six digits out like that. Like, I'm used to hearing $83.74. Let me in on the game, coach. I'm used to hearing a negative $5.50. You get what I'm saying? That's what I'm just gonna keep it real. I wasn't used to hearing that.
What do you think the people, like when I be live talking about the school and the blueprint and all, what do you think they thinking? That
What do I think they're saying?
yeah, or thinking in their brains when I'm online talking about all this type of stuff, what we're talking about.
I can just tell you from my opinion. Okay, so when I first heard about you, one of the ladies that worked with me, she had put me on to you. She was like, well, it's this guy, his name is Chin, and they call him the Millionaire Barber. And I was like, I think I seen him on a book or something. I ain't for sure, I don't know. I ain't into barbering or anything. So I was like, I think I seen him on a book one time. And she was like, well, yeah. So if you need help with your school, getting your school situated with financial aid and with NACAS, he can help you. So I'm like, okay, I'll go pull him up. So when I pulled you up, I want to say I pulled you up on Instagram, and I started following you, and I was laughing at you jumping out the pool or something. I was like, this man crazy. He just jumped out the pool with his wig on. And then he went riding down the street, driving like 90 miles per hour with a wig on his head. I'm like, I don't know. But it was funny. So I was like, I like this because it's funny. This man real funny. So I started laughing at you. So I was like, Then he started talking about, he was locked up in the prison. I was like, who gonna tell you that dirt like that? Just gonna come out and tell you that they were locked up and, and like some of my experiences, like when my father, he was a drug dealer and he was locked up. So I was like, those are some things that we had in common. And I was a correctional officer and you were locked up. So I was like, we kind of clicking. We got a lot of things in common. But the things that you were saying, like when you started talking about the blueprint, some of the things that's in there, and I was like, well, hey, this is a lot of stuff that he's talking about that I went through, that I was going through, and I could relate to it. So once you start talking about those particular items, I know you couldn't make that up. I know that wasn't made up because I was already going through it. So when I had called you like one night, and I want to say it was like about 8:30 here. And I was like, well, hey, I was just calling to, find out some more information about you, but I'm already going through the process with NACAS, and I had already hired somebody. But do you help out with marketing? I probably can use you with marketing. So he was like, well, yeah, I don't mind doing that, blah, 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 blah. If you need any help, just let me know. Because I was like, well, I ain't know he was going to call me. I was just playing. I just DM him, see was he really going to call me. I was like, that man ain't finna call nobody. I waited like 2 seconds later, he called me real fast. I was like, oh, Lord, he called me. The man on Instagram called me. The real millionaire called me. So I told my husband, I was like, Daddy. He was like, wait, I got a millionaire friend now. He was like, girl, whatever. I said, I do. And so we've been talking ever since, I text him, he could text me, I call him, he call me. It's never a time that I can't call him. And, he never said, well, don't call me at this time, or don't call me at this number, only text me, only email me. I call him and he'll call me and we be talking. My husband be in the background. My husband ain't never said no, who that man is you talking to. He ain't never said that. My husband, he cool. So I guess, when you're dealing with a married woman, he was kind of skeptical about, I know he never said it, but I knew he had that respect. But my husband cool, so he was like, well, who that man is that be talking on there to my son? Let me get a shout out to all the beauty academy, because I be on live and he be hearing and he be like, yeah, you finna be a millionaire too. And I said, yeah, that's why I hang with him. I don't have no regular friend no more. All my friends on Instagram. Cynthia, Miss Crawford.
The conference in Florida that we were at, the accreditation with all of the school owners. You want to tell them how that was?
Okay, so I had called Chin. I was like, well, I got an extra ticket, that I'm not gonna use. That I already had requested from the spot from NACA's. And so I was like, well, if you want to come join me, you can. And so he was like, I'll see. I'll see. I was like, okay. I just left the invitation out to him. So that morning, I get a text saying that he was in Tampa and that he was gonna go to the conference with me. And I'm like, really? Then he paid for his ticket. And I'm like, he said, what's your cash out? And I sent it to him. Then he sent me the money for his part. And I'm like, really? So we were staying at the Hilton. So when I came out of the room, I was running behind. So I came down. I'm like, there go Chin, because they look just like him. I hugged them and, we went upstairs and we sat together during the meeting. And so during that time, he had I said, give me some cards, Chin. He was like, gave me some cards. I was like, hold on, I'm finna get you some more people. So I went around and, started talking to people, passing his card out and letting people know about him. I don't know if any of them done anything?
Yeah, a bunch of them.
Okay. So, while I was there, I like to meet people. So I helped him by passing his cards out. So to let them know, because I opened up a school, but I'm not gonna go around showing people how to open up schools. That's not my forte. So I let people know that he does that, because I don't do that. I just run my school and I'm going to open up other schools. So that's what I do. But if I ever get from under the contract that I'm on, I will use him to be my next school consultant, because I already have one. She lives in California, so she does my paperwork. But I had already met her before I met him, and I was already in contract, so that's why I didn't go with him.
So what would you like to leave the people with?
Well, if you working behind the chair and you got at least 5 years experience, it's time to get a school, because you already training people. They come in, they tear up the shop. Most of them do. You find some that don't tear your place up, but you gotta run them down for booth rent. Their clients are rude too when they come in, and they clients all over the place. So when you were school, you could control all that. You could control who comes in and out, versus if you was having a booth rent and you let your clients get their own clients. Then they run off with your keys, and then they don't want to pay you the booth rent. They run off on you with the key and your booth rent. So with the students, you don't have to worry about them running off with a key. You can also take your students to collection if they do not pay you. I have collection company that I deal with, and if I have a problem with that, I send them to collection and I get my money through collection. So there's more than one way to get your money. You don't have to be rude or ghetto or ratchet. Just take them to collection.
What about somebody that's scared or has a little distrust, or a little scaredness or unbelief? What would you tell them?
Well, they can't be too scared if they own their own shop, because they took a risk on the shop. So those people, they're not, let me see. They're risk takers. but they can be scared. Do that make sense?
Because some of
Am I
them think
making
the school
sense?
is too big or too much.
Right. So only thing it is, it's like you run a big beauty salon or a big barber shop, because I have to have a minimum of 16 chairs. So it's like, so if you got 3 chairs, it's like times, times that amount. But we have to have we can do only 20 students at a time. So if you don't feel comfortable with teaching 20, you could do small groups. You could put as many students in as you want under your quota. So if you want to do 5 to start off with, because you don't feel comfortable to do 5 until you feel like you're comfortable, and then add them on up till you get to 20. But you're gonna have to take some risk with this. You're gonna have to work a lot of hours, like you already work. You already working a lot of hours. But one thing about it, when you have 16 chairs times every person that come in, and then like if that student have 10 clients, and then their ticket is like $30 or $40, you add that up for each student, you good. Just only thing I do in the morning, sometimes I buy muffins and fruits and put them on the table back there in the back, and let them just, it's all. Or sometimes I say, well, we're gonna have a pizza party. I throw a pizza party. So, and then I have people that come in that know how to braid, because I don't braid. I got a braid workshop this Saturday. Why they ain't doing braids? I'm gonna be doing my paperwork. I'm gonna pay that lady $80 to show them how to do braids. That's all I'm gonna show her. Pay her. She gonna come in from 9 to 4 for $80. And guess what? I'm gonna be doing my paperwork. I just had a lady come in yesterday. She's an Asian, and she's one of my friends, to show them how to lay acrylic, how the Asian lay acrylic. Now I paid her a little bit more because she came out of town. I paid her $400, but I paid her $400 because I know she's skilled. I know she's an Asian, and she came all the way from kind of like near Tennessee, Cartersville. You know what Cartersville is? She came from Cartersville to Albany yesterday. She drove 4 hours to get there and 4 hours to get back. So during that time, she was doing demos. That's my free time. She showed them how to do manicures, how to do pedicures, how to lay acrylic, how to do nail art. But see, when I get VA money, those are the perks. I can afford to get someone to come in and do a demo, and I can pay them. Then I have free people that come in, like this guy. He just started his own realtor company, and he was on Facebook advertising. And I hit him up, hey, can you come in on one of your slow days and talk to my students about getting their credit started so they can buy a house? He said, yeah. So he came in. I didn't pay him anything. Then I had another girl that came in. She did credit, and she talked to them about how to get their credit started, how to do business credit, how to do personal credit. And guess what? She was free. She was free because she just got her business started, and she was trying to make people know who she was. So I get on Facebook and I go on Instagram and I share them, and I help build their pages up, because I got a lot of friends that follow me. So someone else might want a house, or someone else might want credit.
What if somebody try to do everything by themselves? No,
like I did when I first started?
Yes. All that. What if they try to go through NACAs without a consultant or somebody?
Well, you know that story. So when I first started trying to get accredited, I went through COE. COE is another accredited body. When I first started, I didn't know anything about a comp score. Your comp score got to be a 1.5, and the highest it is 3.0. So what that goes by how much money you got in the bank, how much money you got in the bank at the end of the year, how much money you made, what you spent on supplies, like what you spent the whole year. And at the end, they get some type of formula, and they come up with a composite, like a comp score. So my comp score was 1.5. But at the end of 2018, this is no lie, I had $600 in my banking account. When they came into my school, and they was like, well, yeah, we looked at your financials. We don't know how you survive, and we don't know how your door's still open. I said, excuse me? What does that have to do with anything? So at the end of the day, I was the only one working in my school. I was only instructor, only admin person. I was the only jumps. I did like 8 different jobs. So they said, well, you're not not good. I was like, well, what do you mean? You don't have the staff. I was like, well, you knew I had a staff when I filled out my application, but they still took my money. So they denied me because they said that I was not financially stable and I did not have a staff. So I got denied. So when I looked at the letter to see what I need to do to reapply, they told me I had to pay $30,000 for them to come back out to my school again to check me with a white glove and to check my finances. And I was like, you know what? If I got $30,000 to give y'all, I don't need accreditation. So I went to NACA's website and I seen that they had an opening for December the 10th in Vegas. I told my husband, I'm finna go to Vegas. He said, you finna go what? I'm finna go to Vegas. He said, Vegas? What you going to Vegas for? I got to get accreditation. I got on a plane from Atlanta and I went to Vegas in 2018 and I did my NACAs. Okay? So you got to know that man got to trust me, let me go on the plane by myself to the whole part of another piece of USA that I never been to. He ain't never been to. He was like, well, you feel like you got to go, do what you got to do. Do what you got to do to get us what we need to get. So, I went. I stayed out there for 5 days. So during that time, the lady that's helping me with my paperwork, that's how I met her. Because she was there with other people helping them. So I was like, oh, so you mean you can hire somebody to help you do your paperwork? So that's what I should have did the first time. And I should have waited till I got my VA. Once I got my VA money, that means that I'm sound and I'm stable. But I was trying to do it before my VA money because I'm rushing trying to scratch that $1 million off that lottery ticket. It didn't work there. I was trying to get accredited too fast and I didn't have the money. But now since I got the money, I'm able to do financial aid because you got to have staff. When you first start, you ain't gonna have staff. I didn't. I was the only person. So I didn't have payroll. So all the money went to me. But I couldn't even pay myself when I first started because I had to keep working. Because remember I told you I had all these loans that I had to pay off, and then I had overhead, and I got a house. So a lot of my money, I made it, but it just went out the door. You're not gonna see no money the first 3 years anyway. You're really not. You're not gonna start seeing money till your 3rd year. So you got to work. When you get your income tax, you got to put your income tax money in the bank. You can't go out there and say, well, we just gonna go to club and go to a strip club and buy some rims, and you can't do all that. All your money got to go and buy some hair and pocketbooks and shoes. You can't do that. All your money got to go in the bank.
When you went to the NACA's conference, what was the ratio? It was probably 300 people there, 200?
How long was white itself for? I'm just gonna keep it real. How long was white itself for? Like, there was a lot of white folks in that chin.
It was a small group of us. Now, 22 years ago, when I first went in 1998, it was 2 blacks. It was me and another person. But now it's not being prejudiced because my best friend.
We're saying NACAs.
Yeah, NACAs. They're accredited, so it's kind of growing with us. Would you do this all over again, or would you have stayed in the shop?
Would I have stayed at the prison in the nail salon? Because I had 2 jobs. Would I still be working 2 jobs? No.
So are you glad that you are a school owner?
I am excited that I'm a school owner because I make my own schedule how I want to. So what I do, I make my calendar. I got kids. So every time my kids are out for school, I be at too. So they out for winter break, I'm out. They out for spring break, I'm out. Summer break, I'm out. New Year's, I'm out. So I fix my holidays how I want to fix my holidays. But I do work now. I work, but I do play too. So if I don't want to go to work that day, guess what I do? I got a Facebook group with all my students on. I tell them enjoy your weekend. And I clock them in Tuesday morning like they came in that day. And I give them that day off. If I don't want to go to work.
Okay.
So yeah, so I work when I want to work.
Well,
Yep.
I thank you for sharing your story and being so transparent.
You know, I stay transparent.
For keeping it 100, as I say, keeping it real.
I do.
So, do you have time to answer any questions?
I sure do. I'm waiting on them.
Okay.
Please.